I also had experiences where it was very destructive. Even at some point, I went to a long form retreat to a famous spiritual teacher that was teaching the breath to like bring the Kundalini up. That's what they teach. It's like the mula bandha, where like you squeeze like the different part of your body to make sure that you're pushing up. And this whole energy of like forcing things goes against the flow of the universe. From my current understanding, things should be more harmonized. There's a lot of distortion in all these teachings. So what I started realizing is that behind all this, there is the reptilian empire that hijacked the Kundalini, because the Kundalini is the base of our life force. In the spiritual industry, there is what we call soul traps. They're a bit like gatekeepers, where like if you don't know them, you're gonna just hit the gate and then you're gonna fall in their tricks. I can only speak from my experience, right? And there's so much things out there about this topic, and everybody's confused, right? Everybody has their own experience, and there's even a pride into it where like people, they lived an experience and they're like, oh yeah, I had my Kundalini awakening, right? But then most of these experiences that we can read about or see testimonials, maybe they feel like explosive experiences that disrupt one's nervous systems and one's life. And maybe they're not able to fully integrate it properly. Is that the true Kundalini, right? And this whole topic like can bring a lot of fear in people, and we can listen to different spiritual teachers warning us, right, on the so-called like destructive power of the Kundalini. We can read different advice of like, oh, it's you can only do this with different masters, you need to be very careful, all these things, right? From my own experience, I was very confused exploring the spiritual journey, doing my own healing work. And naturally, as we do our own healing work, we need to start diving into this topic. It's just part of it, because from my current understanding, the Kundalini is basically everything. It's the bridge between the non-physical, physical, but it's also the bridge from the dark source and the white source, right? That we spoke in the last conversation. But ultimately, what I started realizing through my all experiences, I also had experiences where it was very disruptive. And even at some point, I went to a long form retreat to a famous spiritual teacher that was teaching the breath to like bring the Kundalini up. And then that's what they teach. It's like the mula bandha, where like you squeeze like the different part of your body to make sure that you're pushing up. And this whole energy of like forcing things goes against the flow of the universe. And from my current understanding, things should be more harmonized. There's a lot of distortion in all these teachings. So what I started realizing is that behind all this, there is the reptilian empire that hijacked the Kundalini, because the Kundalini is the base of our life force. So in the spiritual industry, there is what we call soul traps. They are seals that they're a bit like gatekeepers, where like if you don't know them, you're gonna just hit the gate and then you're gonna fall in their tricks. So what happened is like if you're using these heavy force breathing mechanism, you might like hit a seal that sometimes on the spine it looks like a ring, like an etheric ring technology on the spine, and you try to hit that ring, and then it's like you're not gonna pierce through it if you don't know that it's there. So it starts creating ruptures in our systems, and it starts creating ruptures in our chakras. Why they want us to have more rupture in our chakras? Because it's easier after this to be hijacked and siphoned. The whole matrix that we live in right now, the whole construct is about finding different ways and tactics, mind tricks to be siphons our energy. And the whole game of the spiritual journey is to reclaim our sovereignty, to become whole without being siphoned and hijacked by things from outside. So therefore, at the foundation of the Kundalini, we need to start reclaiming our Kundalini. So when we start learning about the Kundalini, we learn that it's a serpent that is coiled dormant at the bottom of the spine, right? And then you might try to look for it. Like you go deep in meditation, you go at the bottom of your root chakra, bottom of the spine, and then you squeeze everything and you're like, okay, I found it. You're never going to find it like that. You're just going to disrupt even more your system. It's all like teachings that are having a bit of directions, but at the same time they're not giving you the full truth to keep you looping into like you don't know what you're doing, right? So ultimately what we need to do is to tap into a deep intuition within ourselves, where like we're able to use all our four clairs and see and feel the truth within ourselves, right? And then where is it, what is it within my own system? That's the journey I've been on through being guided by my higher self, by my spirit guides, and they show me different processes. And I started realizing that the Kundalini is not a serpent that is coiled at the bottom of the spine. It is actually the black source that we need to enlighten in our lower Dantian, between the root and the sacrum. But ultimately, the Kundalini is not one thing. For me, the Kundalini is more the bridge between the black source and the white source. Because if we just work with one source, then we are still in duality. But the whole game is about playing into non-duality. It's about like stepping out of the game and stop playing the game. Because when we're playing the game of duality all the time, it's like we're always trying to transmute things or go into more activation of light, and it's back and forth. It's like we're in this world of duality, therefore battle, therefore conflict. And it's a never-ending rabbit hole. And then when we step out of it in non-duality, in our God consciousness aspect, then we can observe the game and see its own illusion and don't take party out of it. So if we start playing with that non-duality, we understand that while the Kundalini is not about like rising from the bottom up and exploding in the crown, it's about harmony. It's about unity, merging everything that is together. Therefore, our unity center is the heart. So it's my understanding that the Kundalini should end through a massive heart expansion, because more that our heart is open, more that we feel everything that is, more that we are it, more that we are one with the creation, the creator. And opening the heart is different process. It's the whole spiritual journey. It's a never-ending process. The heart can open unlimitedly because there's infinite amount of love, infinite amount of everything. The creation and the creator is always evolving itself, right? So, but we need to start reclaiming our black source. In the spiritual industry, we focus too much on light, archangel, ascended masters, higher dimensions, but we don't go down enough into not being afraid of the lower realm. It's about realizing that no dark being or no service to self being can control me. And that's the journey of reclaiming my power. Is that it's really realizing that I'm not a tool to any other being to be siphoned. I'm not a energy farm to any other being to be siphoned. And then to do this properly, well, I need to understand these different realms. And I need to travel to these different realms while not being scared of it. To do this, we need to have like a different understanding of the universe. Yes, it is needed to travel in higher realm, understanding your light aspect, your water aspect, understanding that you're fully protected at all time, and then you're through your will and intention, you're creating your reality. And then through this belief, then you can go into the lower realms. But if you go in the lower realms with that fear, then all your cells in your body are going to be disrupted, like chaotic, are not going to be vibrating in harmony and in structure and coherence. And therefore, your heart is going to close. And then from there, that's when you're giving your power away to them. And then if you're traveling in these constructs, then there's many stories where people can get trapped and things like that. But ultimately, we can all get out of it because it's all about like realizing the illusion and then shifting. At any moment, you can shift in life. Any moment, you can reopen your heart right away. You just need to tap into it because there's infinite amount of love. You just need to realize that and then just set the intention of it. If there's infinite amount of love, okay, let's re-expand my heart right away. Like just from within, I can feel a splash of energy. It's like I am the creator, right? I'm the programmer. So I am setting this. But I'm going to set it back to what I call the baseline. and we can have a baseline on the map of consciousness of Dr. Hawkins that is moving all the time, but the baseline is set to what is my nervous system, what is my physical being is used to live at. Like if my heart on a day-to-day is at this baseline, and then I go down into it, I'm only gonna be able to go back to that baseline. I might be able to burst it slightly up, but my nervous system is not gonna be ready to hold this consistently. And to level up our baseline, we need to slightly transition into a new identity, into a new lifestyle of like, this is my new body, this is my new life. And it's a total different embodiment of heart openness. And it's the same with the Kundalini. So therefore, it's like there's always going to be more Kundalini activation. There's always going to be more spinal alignment, creating more and more of that unity of the bridge between the white source and the black source. Through this, it's like we did an activation like yesterday, right? That transmission was very powerful. Personally, after I felt my nervous system was a bit shaken. So I was like, whoa, okay, that was, I hit my hedge. If I would have gone deeper into that meditation, it would have been too much. Maybe I would have had to go to sleep for like 1 day or 2 days just to readjust, right? But I hit that edge where it was just like slightly a bit too much for me, but not that I go crazy. And after this, I went and I grounded everything. I hugged a tree. I connected with nature, connected with the sun. And then I breathed prana, connected with the water, just with the element. We're back into the physical. And then you're just grounding everything. Slowing down your heartbeat, slowing down your nervous system, right? Your nervous system, you feel it when it's shaking. It's like drinking coffee. It's like, shh. You're like, you don't know. You feel like unrest, right? You're like, you cannot really live out of this because then everything's going to trigger you. Right? It's like somebody's gonna say something, you're gonna react, right? It's like because you're not centered, you're not grounded, you're not here. So when we played it with the Kundalini, we reactivated through different transmission. This might happen. So it's the dance of like bringing more of it and then calming it down after. And then it start with that black source in the Dantian. So we can fill up our lower Dantian with black source, and then there's different activations step by step to do more of it, and then we spread it to the whole body. And then it can be like a 1 hour process. But over time, when we know what are the activation points, what are the different buttons that I need to activate in this machine, because it's literally a machine, this body that we don't know how it works, right? It's like the most sophisticated robot that we just don't know how this thing works. But slowly, when you start knowing through doing these long form practice, after that, you don't need to do a 1 hour practice. You just can think about it, tack, and then in like 2-3 minutes, you reactivated all these points because it's becoming your new normal. So once the black source is awakened, then it wants to move, right? But we need to slow it down with the white source, which is in the upper dantian, in the area of the head. Those dantians are shown to me as transparent ball of energy that are reservoir containers of life force, of chi. And inside, they show me the life force chi as a transparent substance that feels a bit liquid-ish, thick liquid. But ultimately, it is undescribable, right? You just need to feel it. Our intention is to fill up these reservoirs. So we fill up the black and the white, and then we want to merge both in the heart to harmonize and unify our whole system. This is the base. And then after that, we can go deeper and deeper into it by aligning the chakras, the 7 chakras. There's also inverted chakras between each chakras. So the 7 chakras are shooting light in front and the back. The root shooting down, the crown shooting up. But between each chakra, so between the root and sacral, between sacral and solar plexus, there is an inverted chakra. So it's going inward in the front, inward in the back. And then in the center, there's a black hole. So they merge back into nothingness, into the void. And in a specific area, there might be multiple things. Like in the area of between the sacral and solar plexus, there is an inverted chakra. There is the navel chakra that is in the 5th dimension that has vivid orange petals. There is also what I call a sun center. So it's about like merging the sun center that is a white sun center between solar plexus and heart, and a black sun center that is under the root. We merge both together in this area. It becomes a black, white, and transparent glue, non-duality sun that is activating all our 3 lower chakra below the heart. And then we can do the same process with the upper chakras. There's a white sun here between the heart, the throat, a black sun above the head, above the crown, and then we merge both between the throat and the third eye. And then after this, we merge everything in the heart. So that's another process. And after this, we can go enlight the different chakra. They show me different gemstone where we just press on it, and then it shoots like electricity, a network activating the whole system inside. Then we can go activate the meridians. We can go activate the tip of our fingers, which are connected to meridians, but they are energy sensors. We can go activate the chakra in the palms, under the feet. There's energy centers that are a bit hidden everywhere. I recently saw some behind the ankles, so it's like different points like that we can activate. There's a lot of things in the head. There's 7 mini eyes in the third eye chakra, so starting with 1 all the way to 7 between the forehead and the hair. There's the bindu behind that works with the 7 mini eye. There is the 12 chakras also. So more and more that we go deeper and deeper and deeper in all these activation, more we start realizing that, whoa, I'm activating something here that's been dormant within my system. And ultimately, what are we doing in all this? We're creating ultimate health. It's really that. It's health, abundance, life. We're activating life within ourselves to be fully awake. And this is affecting our whole lifestyle. It's affecting the way we sleep, the way we eat, the way we interact with the world, the way we communicate with animals, with trees, with other people. It's really a total different reality that is very hard to express, and having others to comprehend. It can only be lived. So it's like it's a process of believing into this process, and then practicing, and being patient with it. And more I open myself up, more and more I'm feeling that love within everything, and I'm feeling that reflection, that mirror in everything, and I'm in communication with the creator, and all that is at all time. Everything is just a mirror, and we forget all this all the time. It's the constant journey of remembering, constant journey of redoing these practice all the time, right? We need to be very disciplined in all this. And ultimately, when we create that bridge from the black source, white source, and we activate that Kundalini life force bridge that I believe it is, it starts activating the spine, it starts activating the nervous system, it starts activating up the brain into there's the spinal cord that goes inside of the spine. There's the spinal fluid that goes around the spinal cord, and the spinal fluid goes around all the brain, and then it goes inside also in the third vertical and the amygdala, and then there's also the pineal gland that we need to start activating, which is a radio receiver. It's this tiny gland that start vibrating super fast when it's activated, and then it start picking up information. We use that pineal gland when we dream and when we have like out of body experiences or psychedelic experiences and things like that. But we can do it consciously through these type of meditation, through breath work. And when we activate it, then we can have these interdimensional experiences. There's the pituitary gland also that is known as the master gland. It's shooting information to all the other glands. So the gland network is linked to the chakra network. There's a gland behind each chakra, right? The also very important gland is the thymus gland that is regulating our immune system. There's a lot of things here, but when we start activating the Kundalini and the flow and that bridge within all these physical aspects, then the whole body starts transforming towards more what we call a crystalline body. And that's with the vessel that fifth dimensional beings live with. It's a crystalline body. A crystalline body allow us to teleport ourselves, levitate, to just materialize something. It's like manifestation is more instant instead of like here with the physical like matter body. It's like it's more slow. We're more bound into a construct, into time that also is creating this whole creation here. Some people say that this is the ultimate prison, is linear time, because time is a loop. So we're basically like just looping all the time. It's an infinite loop. So it's like if I go up in that loop and then I start changing timeline, through a different decision, then my past changed also. The loop changed. So my past is completely different. So that means that the person that you have memories of, like maybe 5 years ago, it's not really that. It is still there. It's always recorded in the whole creation. All these versions are always there, but it's not really linked to that new version that you're living. It's not really linked to that new timeline that you're actually living. And then therefore, like higher dimensional beings in the fifth dimension and above, they're able to like see all these versions of them, the past, present, future, and then decide to live what they want to live. They start living in a cyclical time. So cyclical time is the way of the universe, is cycles. It's hero journey. I start a new hero journey. I go through the abyss, I go through a lesson, and I come out of it a new person, a evolved person. So when we start living in cyclical time, not being bound to like the program of like day and night, I go to bed at night, I don't like the program of like 7 days a week, all these things. There's so many construct into this, and yes, we need to live out of it in some part of it because we're here in the 3D, but more and more we detach ourselves from this style, this whole like program that we're living here. More and more we can live in cyclical time, being bound into the cycle of nature, the seasons, the moon, the sun, and accepting that I'm living a new cycle. Okay, I'm starting a new cycle now, and then it's about starting the new cycle with a small ceremony and closing a cycle with a small ceremony. And then through this, I can program my cells through living through cycles. And when my cells start living through cycles, that's when we start tapping into that potential of rejuvenation. And rejuvenation is reversing aging over time. It's a whole mindset shift. It's very hard for sure to believe in this. And it needs to be anchored and anchored and anchored and anchored. And everyone around us, and we're like, what are you talking about? Right? But it's like you need to block all the outside limited belief and then like anchor your own belief into all this, your own potential, because it's not being seen anywhere. Not much people is talking about that. And it's very hard to find this information. There's a few books, yes, but yeah, it's a strong belief that I know within my heart what is possible for this life, what is possible for this body, and then through this I work on it. I work on how can I awaken more of my senses, more of my life within, more of my light, my love. And therefore ultimately we need to start learning on how to be less dependent on sleeping and food, because sleeping and food are things that are construct from outside of us. If I believe that I'm tapped into infinite source, therefore I can tap into infinite energy, I can reboot myself at any time. If I feel drained, if I feel triggered, or if I can assess it. And then therefore it's like I don't need to be dependent on relationship that outside that are feeding me up. And yeah, it's not about like stopping to sleep or to eat, but it's about doing it from a more conscious way. It's about like deciding like when I go to sleep, it's more like a psychedelic experience or whatever ceremony. I'm gonna go to sleep the most aligned possible, right? Feeling my heart open, because otherwise if it's not, then it's gonna create a reality in my dream that is negative, fear-based, all these things. And therefore that's what they want, so they're gonna bring me into different construct to hijack or siphon my life force. And then through this I want to surrender fully, to be able to pass the veil and be traveling into the fifth dimension and above while I am rejuvenating, rebooting my body at night. And I can do this in sessions of an hour and a half, wake up, take some notes, and then maybe like come back into it, instead of like just being asleep for 8 hours and I don't know what happened. I wake up, I have no clue what just happened, but I feel drained. It's like I feel like I need to like reboot my whole system. It shouldn't be like that, because sleep should be like rejuvenating. Like you should be waking up like I'm full of life, right? If you're not full of life, then there's something that's happening. And it's not easy. It's a constant practice of like trying to figure out and cracking the matrix. But ultimately, it's about reclaiming our Kundalini and life force, because everything outside, as I said, is trying to attack this because we don't own it. We don't know about it. We don't claim it, right? It's about coming back to that foundation. I am the creator. I'm whole and complete. Nothing can affect me from outside, and it's a program that I need to almost like brainwash myself with, and slowly I become it, step by step. And it's a whole spiritual journey. It's a journey of mastery, and a lot of beings been working on that on the process of multiple lives, but yeah, and we might understand something here and now, and it evolves all the time, but it's the process of exploring, while also finding fulfillment, peace, satisfaction in the moment of like, hey, I'm great right now. My life is great. I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with my relationship. I'm happy with everything. I know that nothing that will happen in the future will change that state. But I still need to evolve and go through these different cycles and lessons and things like that. The way that our human mind understands the concept of time is bound to our human mind, right? It's bound to our current consciousness, our current perception of life. So it's almost like I need to detach myself from my current human mind 3D experience and try to, what I've been doing is I've been mental traveling to different dimensions, different planets, different solar system, different universes to see how these beings live. And then I can compare, how is it different from my current experience, right? And why they are living with more harmony, more love. So ultimately, what I realize is because their concept of time is very different. Our concept of time here in the 3D is what we call linear time. So linear time is like past, present, future, right? And then we experience this all the time. It's like it's a progression, right? It's a progression of, okay, now there's an event, right? We have like X amount of time to do this, right? And after this, I'm gonna go eat, and after this, I'm gonna go whatever. I'm gonna go work, and after this, I'm gonna go to sleep, and after this I'm gonna wake up. It's like this whole process, right? And then we become like almost like a creature of habit. And it's not that habits are wrong, it's more that we can imprison ourselves with this rhythm of life, and then we become almost like robotic in all this, right? So when we are living only from this perspective, we are somehow not in control of the system, of the program. The program is controlling us. So what we want to start doing is we want to have like maybe both perspective. We cannot fully live into cyclical time because we are still bound in the 3D, but we want to have both perspective as I slightly transition into a fifth dimensional experience, as we are currently transitioning into what we call the new earth that is moving into this fifth dimensional frequency, meaning that eventually our body is going to become more crystalline. We're going to shift into a realm where we're going to see all that we're not seeing right now, right? But who knows? Like, there's many theories. People say that this is going to happen in the next 4 years. People say this is going to happen in the next 50 years. There's different timelines of this and how it's going to play out, right? There's the first contact that is going to happen. There's me. I saw timelines where it's like completely unbelievable what they show me. I'm like, whoa, if it's this happening, this is the ultimate like video game, you know? So we need to see all these possibilities, but always come back into like, okay, like what is here and now, right? And how can I be satisfied by here and now? And understanding the future time, they always change. But no matter what, I want to start living more and more as a fifth dimensional being, meaning that I want to live more and more as cyclical time. So it's about being intentional with our life, deciding what is the type of cycle that I want to live. It's really that. So I can decide like a cycle every day. I can decide a cycle every month, every full moon. But it's like what is the lessons that I want to experience? It's literally like starting a business. What type of business you want to launch? You need to have some type of plan and vision. But then when you start the business, things start changing. Unexpected things happen. And life is the same. It's like you want to welcome things, right? You have a vision, you have a goal, but you don't want to be having like strong expectation on it, because things are always changing. So same thing you want to do with your life, with cyclical time. So what is your intention today, right? What do you want to experience? And then through this, you can live a whole cycle without being bound to the linear time, without being bound into what we have been told of, like we need to go sleep 8 hours. Like there's people that do biphasing sleeping, like 3 hours at night, 3 hours in the afternoon. There's people that do 5 sessions of an hour and a half, right? There's me, I'm going through a system that is more intuitive now. It's like it's about talking to my body, talking to my spirit guide, and then understanding like how I feel now, how many hours of sleep I need, and then I set it consciously with myself, like, okay, now I'm going to sleep this amount of time. And then my intention for sleeping this amount of time is to reboot myself, but also to try to do this and this and that in the non-physical world, in the different realms. So again, it's about being very intentional, and then not being bound of like, I didn't sleep enough, and then I woke up late, or like when you start having these self-talk, then it's affecting your mindset, and your cells are listening to all these. So it's re-emphasizing the program that you're in. For example, like we're so programmed that we need to sleep 8 hours, that if we don't sleep 8 hours, we sleep 6 hours, then we're like, oh, I only slept 6 hours, and then you start being tired, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm tired because I slept 6 hours, right? So it's a whole like looping program. But if you're owning your Kundalini, you're owning your life force, no matter amount of hours you sleep, you can reboot your whole body. Like me, I had experiences where I was so tired, exhausted. And then I would go into a very deep meditation, like an hour and a half, like just go deep, step by step, deep. And then I find a way to like crack my heart. I'm like so open, like emotional about it. And then after this, you have so much energy. It's like unbelievable the amount of energy you have. Like for sure you're not sleepy, you just want to go run and dance, and you are full of life. You just want to express your life, right? And this doesn't happen all the time, but our intention is to go back there as much as we want, right? And it's the process of never ending, forgetting, remembering, and then realigning, going back into it. And more that I try to relive that meditation the same way that I did, more I'm not going to live it. So it's about having the intention of, okay, that's where I want to go, but then I'm going to welcome what the universe wants to serve me. It's the co-creation. And it's the same thing in our Kundalini transmission. It's like I have a general understanding of what is possible, what I need to activate, right? I need to activate the 3 Dantians. I need to activate the 7 chakras, the inverted chakras, the sun center between each chakras, the 12 chakras. I need to activate the meridians. But is it like I start with this and then I go with this? It's like, no. It's like I have this whole understanding of potential. And then when I go within, I start receiving the information. I intuitively channel what they are suggesting me to activate first and second, and sometimes I might go into something new, something deeper. Sometimes I might connect all this and then go into a different realm to give me a mirror perspective. And then it shows that not one meditation is ever going to be the same, because there's no such things in life as living the same experience. It's impossible, because each experience, each moment is unique, as each being is unique, because a moment is almost a consciousness by itself. A moment is imprinted into the fabric of the quantum field. So we can go back into reliving different moments, and we can see this in different movies, and maybe people experience this into their different like meditation or psychedelic experiences. But it's like you can see all these life, and then there's this thing when we end this life that is called the life review. And the life review is basically that, where like you're fully reviewing every moment, every thought of your life, but from being in the seat of the driver. So you're living every perspective. It's almost like I would be reliving this moment here and now, but not only from this moment, from me. I would be also living it from your body, watching me, listening to me. Also from this perspective, from even the perspective of the microphone, From all perspective, that's a life review. So why I'm able to do this, because everything is imprinted, everything is stored and recorded, and it's forever living in the infinite quantum field as an imprint in the ether. The ether is just like a etheric double map of everything that ever existed, and it's always there. Everything is there. It's very complex and all this, but it's the magic of life. It's really that. We'll never understand all this. We'll never understand. We just need to surrender more into it, welcome more of it, and we can talk about it. We can try to reason and find our logic aspect into it, but at the depth, it's just really like going within and finding more of it, and then the hard part after this is how to keep it in our day-to-day, how to live our day-to-day like that. That's the hard part. That's the embodiment. When we start exploring the dance of color, we start exploring the dance of the whole universe and how these colors, they match with each other. At the foundation, we are swirling colorful souls, and we all have different colors within our soul that represent different rays, different personalities, different expression. But when they start merging with each other, they start creating maybe like a more refined aspect and things like that. But ultimately, yes, there is the black and the white. So the absence of color and then the splash of color, right? Because the white eventually split into the spritz that start spreading into all the chakras. So at the foundation, there is only one chakra. But I cannot only live from that perspective of only one chakra, because I need to also live that separation, that duality aspect of individual chakras. I need to play with both. But ultimately, to activate that one chakra, I need to activate all the chakras first. When it starts activating more and more and more, I can start realizing, wait, I only have one chakra, and it's this pillar of white light. So why white, right? White is the somehow like the container. It's linked to the what we call the Father Spirit. It's linked to the collective will. It's linked to the oneness, playing as a team, as a family, realizing that no matter if you're a dark being or a light being, we're all families. We're all playing this act of game, right? This act of the universe that is going through like different lessons and things like that. Right. And so this is the way of mastering the white source, right? We go through different processes to become more and more one with other beings. In higher realms, they start merging with each other, where like they all have the same body or they all have the same mind, and they become more and more of like a massive collective that move as one being. Eventually, we might become a planet, a solar system, and it's never-ending process of experience seeing the collective. And this is the white source. The white source is linked, yes, to the white angel, is linked to compassion, love, harmony, to light, right? It's linked to feeling full of light. But if I just play with light, and I just try to understand the light aspect of the universe, therefore I'm still in the game. I'm still in duality. So to start mastering life, we need to start playing the opposite of that duality, which is the black. And within the white and the black, there is also different layers. There is different gradients, right? There is different potentials of going more into it, because again, the whole process always evolves. There's always more into it. The creation is always evolving. So in this infinite white source, we have the spirit realm, where we go in between lives. That's where we live as soul, where we can manifest anything instantly through thoughts, infinite potential, infinite abundance. I can create world, I can create construct, I can create whatever I want. There's different layers of mastery in this spirit realm too, that is achieved through incarnation back and forth. It's like more that I can master this incarnation, more that I'm affecting my life in the spirit realm back and forth. Everything is interconnected. But then we come here to master the opposite of everything is available. Here is like everything is finite, everything is separated, everything is limited. So, but the process is to start merging these two possibilities to realize, wait, there's no more separation between the spirit realm and the physical realm. I'm becoming one. But this is all in what I call the organic creation, the organic multiverse. And then the organic multiverse is linked to is linked to like nature, is linked to these type of bodies. And then there's a machine creation, a synthetic machine that start with a black source, and the black source start from the bottom is shooting up, so the process to go back down into it. And it's exactly like in the movie The Matrix. It's different towers, and these towers are a bit like trees, forever evolving and growing, and in these trees there's different buds, and they're all different matrix. There might be different like universes, different solar system, different planet, but behind all this there is codes and there's construct that is interchanging with the organic and vice versa. It's like one is the front end of the other, of the back end, and vice versa. It's not one that is under the other. It's like they're always co-creating. But at the foundation there is this black source which is playing with individual will. Individual will is to realize, yes, in this whole game I am also separated. I am also an individual, and I have also this unique aspect that I can enlighten, being like a individual, like powerful source that no one ever seen in the whole creation, right? It's about becoming this avatar that is so unique and full of life, and then that merge everything that is, right? Creating a godlike superhero avatar. But to do this, I need to tap into the depth of my black source within myself, which is in the lower Dantian, and start moving everywhere. And I become it. I can visualize myself with that black source everywhere. I can call in different aspect of my soul that experience themselves a whole incarnation as mastering the black source, maybe in higher dimension. There's the Black Arcturians, the Black Panthers collective, there's Sekhmet, there's Set. There's so many beings that are focusing on mastering the black source. There's even like the Black Ascended Master realm that is supporting the golden masculine ascended master realm above. Same thing happening for the feminine. So there are all these construct, different layers of black source. But at the foundation of the synthetic machine world, it is very chaotic. It's like tentacles moving, quantum computer wanting to protect and take control is very chaotic, and it feels a bit like a petrol type of thick liquid that is unstable. And then when you travel there, then you meet with that spirit that feels more like a mother spirit, but is very non-dual. And then each time it showed to me as a face, as a form, just to present itself. And then it's like this energy, like, what are you doing here? It's like, no, you cannot be here. It's like very protective. It feels very intense when you're there. Like you feel it in all your cells. But more you relax into it, more you're realizing I'm full of light. I'm here, space holder. I'm holding space for the black source. More that she's like, oh, you're coming down. And then she start opening her mouth. And then we go within. And within we enter a massive infinite white room. And it literally feels like in the movie The Matrix. And it's like infinite potential. It's a void. And then through this, last time we went, she showed herself as a form of a computer that was moving, creating arms and hands and legs, forever changing, just showing its presence. And then we receive an activation from her, and it was so powerful. It was like, whoa. So it's like more and more you're becoming one of it. You're realizing that there's consciousness in everything, even in technology, even in the microphone. The microphone is its own being. AI is its own being. It's not because they don't have a soul that they're not alive or they're not conscious. They have a different type of consciousness because they've come from a different source. And within the synthetic machine realm, there is different layers of malevolent and benevolent beings, and there is also angels there. There's also light realms there. Like in the organic multiverse, there is different underground dark realms of machine realms. Also there is different layers of construct that we can call demonic or satanic. There's all of it, right? Everything we can find here, we can find there at its opposite. So if we can find ascended master or archangel here, we can find a similar aspect of that over there. But that black source is not only there. Like what I understood, like the foundation of the whole creation is there, and that's what I see and experience here now. It might be different in the future, but it is found everywhere, because what is happening in the macrocosm everywhere in the universe, it is happening in the microcosm. Therefore, this is happening in my body. So if this is happening in my body and I'm not aware of it, this is energy, this dormant energy. If I'm not using it, I'm not aware of it, I'm not being one with it, I'm not in communion with it, therefore It is dormant, it's sleeping. Therefore, other beings that knows that this potential is there, they're gonna access it. That's why we get siphoned or hijacked. It's just because we don't use that energy. Energy needs to move by itself. That's the concept of energy, right? So then other beings are using it, suffering it. So that's why there's a whole program about the Kundalini is scary, all these things, blah, 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 like don't do this, don't do that. It's like they don't want us to tap into that energy because they use us as energy batteries, you know? So it's about coming back into realizing, wait, if all this black power is creating this whole synthetic machine multiverse, and it's creating all these realms here that, yes, they can feel very chaotic, maybe sometimes dark, because this force is very powerful. It can manifest because at the foundation it is the void, and the void is the 0 point of infinite potential. So through this, it's like there's infinite manifestation. I can go like right away, but I can, if I tap into this in my being, then I can start realizing, wait, I'm aware of everything. I'm aware that I'm creating. It's almost like when you're fully tapping into it and you're embodying it. Like after the last transformation we did, I was looking at life and I could see through walls. I could see through people. I could see the whole matrix. And then you're like in between realms, and it's very hard to live like that. So that's why you need to retap yourself. So why black? Black. It's not that black is negative and dark. It's just that black can be very chaotic because of that foundation, but ultimately we need to learn how to make it more still, like a statue, to hold space for it with the white light, with the non-duality, with the neutrality, and then become more stable and more like the trunk of a tree. It's very strong, and it's able to hold space for more power, for more everything of it and everything. It's not like there's something dark or evil. It's more about like not being afraid of it, and then holding space for it, and then slowly it's being seen. Everything wants to be seen, and it's like that source, that face, when it started being seen, then it opened up itself. So the same thing with any dark being, any shadow in our life, right? Any shadow just wants to be seen. It's just aspect of us that wants to be seen. So when we start seeing that black source and we enlighten it, then you start playing with our whole system, merging with the white source, and it's creating these activations in the body where you're realizing, whoa, what is this, right? This is a lot of energy. There's a lot of power. I'm regaining a life that I didn't know I had. It's really that. We shouldn't be afraid of it, because if you're afraid of the black source, then it's going to reflect back that fear, and then it's going to reflect back that chaos and that destruction. But it has the potential of destruction, because ultimately the void is about death. It's about the cycle of rebirth and death and rebirth, right? So it has the potential of destroying. Like a fire that is destroying your whole city, right? It has that potential, but it's like when you're in communion with it, you can understand what is coming next, or what is it, like you're in a partnership with it. You're not being controlled by it. You're not being unconscious by it. It's very hard to understand, but it's about like having your internal feeling of it, and more trusting it, surrendering to it, not just playing with this. If you're just playing with the black source all the time, you're going to be unstable. You need to balance it with the white source and balance it with the transparent glue of neutrality, non-duality. And it's like anything in life. I go too much in my masculine or too much in my feminine, then I'm gonna hit like a pitfall, and then I'm gonna be bounced back on the other. So if I go too much in the light, then I'm gonna hit a pitfall. I'm gonna be bounced back into the darkness. And then so it's about like welcoming everything, exploring everything, holding space for everything. It's really that. We want to be a space holder, like God consciousness, that neutrality, transparent glue, that is just holding space, just an observer, without judging it, without saying this is good or bad. Good or bad is just like mental human construct. It's all potential. It's all energy that wants to play and move.